My story strives off of one sentence: don't look back in anger. It's a simple line, straightforward in most ways, but like many stories, there are multiple ways of interpreting it. My favorite way is to think about the past with love and compassion for what has happened in my life, even when I could be upset or angry by looking back on old memories and figuring out any way I could have done it better. That won't bring you to peace. You won't find what you're looking for in that anger. My story is long, convoluted, maybe just the littlest bit messy, but that person I used to be is not who I am today. My story is hopefully just beginning, starting with my name. My real name is Draven Reed, but that's not who I want to be anymore. At least not to this channel. In Buddhist traditions, it's believed that changing your name is taking on a new name, a Dharma name as they call it. As I take this new path, I feel it necessary to do the same. So, my name is Simean. I am a gamer and a retrospect. This is a retrospective on who I used to be and how that led me to this point right here. Let's begin, shall we? At the age of 12, I watched YouTube religiously. It was one of the only ways I could connect with someone other than myself, and it inspired me to pick up my tablet and record videos of me playing various games, including Minecraft, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. It didn't take long, spanning only a month or two. Little me did not have the commitment I needed for such a task, nor the discipline. But looking back on it, even though I gave up, it was something I needed to happen. Maybe it has no effect on what I'm doing today, but it planted a seed I didn't know I needed. Until I tried again when I was 17 years old. I was reckless, impulsive, and didn't think things through. I wanted it to be easy, leading me to quit, although I told myself it was because I wanted to experience the games I was playing by myself. And I don't think that was the reason. When I look back, I realize how scared I was. Starting something new by jumping into the deep end most times doesn't work, but it lets you understand what the task has in store for you. You get overwhelmed by the fact you have to be consistent. You have to be willing to put down the small pleasures like picking up my phone and scrolling. It's easy, but recording, editing, although it's relatively small, it can feel so big at times, and that scared me. I spent 2 months on that account. I found joy in talking into the microphone, the mindless talks I could have about the games I was playing. It was amazing. But then it came to editing, the process I had to take in order to publish a 720p video that I figured only one person would watch at the time. That was a disappointing thing to me. But I wasn't mad at the people who didn't watch. I was scared of nobody ever noticing me. There was so much fear behind what I was doing. What I thought was fun, I turned into a hellscape I needed to perform better in. Record a little more, 5 times a day, just to feel like I was proving to myself that I can be heard. And that pushed me away from what I really wanted. I wanted a connection from something I didn't need it from. But looking back, that seed grew even taller, even when I thought it was done for. My next endeavor was recording music. It was a hard time in my life where I decided to follow my role models, mainly NF, to record my feelings, and when I think back on it, I was trying to make light of a situation I couldn't escape from. I was so anxious and deep in my head for a long time, and turning that pain into music was something I thought I needed. I thought that if I was good at doing it, everything would disappear. And that's not how it works. Nobody took it seriously, and even if they did, I convinced myself they didn't. I tried finding a way out by force, forcing myself to keep writing, and maybe it'll stay on the paper. I didn't get over those words I wrote for a long time. But looking back on it now, I understand how I felt and how I feel now. But most importantly, it taught me a lesson I didn't know at the time. And maybe it's a lesson I'll forget. I tend to forget a lot. But I have the right tools to keep me on track this time. It seems now that I strived in looking for meaning in something I didn't need it from. In many aspects of my life, I was a broken teen hoping to find respite in everybody but myself. I ignored myself for a long time. I ignored my body. I got stuck in my head. I never understood how much life I was taking away from myself, trying to find it in other things like YouTube, relationships, music, money, when all I needed to do was breathe and look at what was in front of me. After I stopped YouTube again, the seed planted in me grew. But like all things, you can't rush it. Beauty shines when it is given the space to grow. I turned to writing. I started a novel called Rame's Light. I spent over 6 years of my life writing it. And when I was done, I published it. It was really nice. It felt like I had finally found my purpose, something that required discipline I was ready to face now. I thought that was it. I thought I had found it. But as of 7 months ago, I published my second book, Rame's Lost. I started to feel a pressure. Burnt out from the writing, burnt out from the nights I spent forcing myself just to pick the laptop up once more and write just another page on my third book. And it took me a long time to finish that book. As of right now, I have the first draft completed, but I have no intention of finishing it. Maybe that's a foolish decision. Why give up on something I worked so hard for? To write and dream of my future as an author? But I know deep down that's not who I am. I'm not a storyteller. I'm Simean. Only a couple days ago, I had been down on my luck. Medical bills that drove me crazy, I turned to Buddhism. I spent nights meditating, reading, exploring my mind, but also quieting it, learning how to let my thoughts wander, my emotions cloud my skies, and still be here. Be me. It's hard, for sure, but it's worth it. It's worth looking into the trees and seeing beauty, not a clouded mind telling you the trees are going to fall or the wind is going to tear your house apart. I started doing things I never thought I would, like starting a new business in freelance writing, a job where I could write, but also write about video games, retrospectives, or articles for any business that needed it. I didn't know deep down it wasn't what I wanted. The ideas were right, everything was right, but I forced myself to start doing it for money, to get out of the medical slump that I'm still in, and be in a less worried position about it. I can't do that. No matter how much I wanted to feel better about my financial situation, something called for me, a voice that came out when I was deep in meditation, something I'd given up a long time ago, and that was YouTube. I watch it all day now, when I'm bored, when I'm sleepy, when I'm working, and listen through all of Monty Xander's retrospectives. Shout out to him. The insight he gives to a story I never even knew about, it was inspiring and also calming. An idea sparked in my mind, and I went for it. That's why this account exists now. This video is a retrospective about why I'm doing and what I'm doing, why I'm changing my name, why I want this to be my journey, not a job. I want this to be a channel about change, about learning from the past and appreciating the little. My backlog is huge. 20 games I've left behind from various ages. My goal with this account is to play through all of them and give retrospectives about each one. This won't be forever, obviously. I will always have a game to finish. But nothing does. Our skies will change color again. Our emotions will change, our fears, our hopes. But this channel will be your guide for when everything is falling apart, or maybe just a form of entertainment. Every game in my backlog will be put into a spinner, and it will decide what the game I play next is. But for my first video, I deem it special enough to pick. And after a few hard minutes, I decided on the Resident Evil 4 remake, in light of Resident Evil Requiem releasing soon. Now, I think it's finally time to get this show on the road. This video may not be long, but it doesn't need to be. My name is Simean the Retrospect, and I hope you stick around to watch my journey unfold.